Fox Sports.
We are Baltimore. We are Minnesota.
A dreary day in Cleveland turned into a rainy evening. Too much rain for a baseball game, so the Twins and the Indians were postponed last night. Now the rain has moved out, but the cold and the wind have moved in. Could be some interesting weather conditions today. No rain, though, expected. We'll play two at Progressive Field, a traditional doubleheader with a half an hour between games as the Twins and the Indians resume their series at Progressive Field. Good afternoon from Cleveland. I'm Marnie Gellner. With the rain out yesterday, that meant all kinds of trickle-down effects, including Paul Molitor needing to shuffle his starting pitching rotation from now through the end of the season. It's not an ideal situation for the Twins at all, but as Molitor said, hey, this gives us a real opportunity to win twice in the same day. So the Twins will hope to do that and put some pressure on in the wild card chase. Here's what happened last night in the games that matter to Minnesota. First of all, the Angels playing against Oakland. Well, Anaheim didn't need a walk-off win in this one. Eric Ibar with a two-run triple, 14 hits for the Angels in all last night. That was part of an 8-1 win, and the Angels have now won 7 consecutive games. Houston was at Seattle, and in the 8th inning, Sean O'Malley came up with the bases loaded and 2 outs. The single to center field breaks a 4-4 tie. That was off of Pat Neshek. Gives the Mariners a win. That knocked the Astros out of playoff position for the first time since mid-April. And so now things have flip-flopped in the West. The Angels have jumped over the Astros. LA is just 2 games behind Texas in the division. And those 2 teams will play each other in a 4-game series starting tomorrow night. That's going to be a great one. The Angels now also take control of the second wild card spot. They're a half game ahead of Houston. Twins are still a game and a half out, but they did gain ground on Houston because of the Astros loss last night. So here is what we have now today. The Twins are playing 2 in Cleveland. It'll be Kyle Gibson in game 1, hoping to overcome some early inning struggles. He'll face Carlos Carrasco, who has been very good in his last 9 starts. Mike Pelfrey gets the start in game 2 against Cody Anderson. The Angels, those hitters are going to face Barry Zito, possibly the final start of his major league career, and he's not been great lately. Garrett Richards will go for LA. He's won 3 straight. Houston has Scott Kazmir going tonight. He's been struggling for the last month. He'll face Seattle's, well, bullpen, essentially. It's kind of a patched-together start for the Mariners tonight against the Astros. Coming up next, a reliable third baseman, a very steady hitter, Dick and Bert, look at the power of Trevor Plouffe and what he has been able to provide the Twins. That's coming up after this.
presented by Menards. Save big money at Menards on all your home improvement needs. And by Ram. Come in and get a great deal on the best trucks during Ram Truck Month. A good old-fashioned doubleheader in Cleveland today. Carlos Carrasco's got some of the nastiest stuff in the American League. He'll make the start for Cleveland. Kyle Gibson hopes to make amends after a disappointing outing his last time out against the Cleveland Indians. Very important day here for the Minnesota Twins in 2015. Dick and Bert with you for the first of a doubleheader. And we figure, of course, to have some regular players play both ends of this doubleheader, including Trevor Plouffe, who's been one of the steadiest players the Twins have.
Yeah, it really has been. You look at Trevor Plouffe, now he's in his 5th year with the Twins, but a very solid year, leading the clubs in runs batted in. Also second behind Brian Dozier in runs scored, second along with Torrey Hunter, tied with 22 home runs. Brian Dozier leading in that department, and he's been out there almost every day. So Trevor Plouffe, I'm sure, will play both ends of a doubleheader, but not only offensively. What has Trevor Plouffe brought to third base as far as defense? He's made some outstanding plays. A lot of chances, only 10 errors, and a big part of that double play combination the Twins have had a lot of success with throughout the summer.
Well, the Twins will open up this doubleheader with Kyle Gibson on the mound. He's coming off one of his worst starts of the season. And the fact of the matter is, this is the biggest start of Kyle Gibson's major league career so far. Series off to a good start in the first inning on Monday, scoring 3 runs against Corey Kluber.
Yeah, it came with 2 outs. Joe Mauer's double, followed by Sano's RBI double, and then the big hit in the inning. Thanks to Trevor Plouffe's 22nd home run, a big 2-run home run, gave the Twins an early 3-0 lead. Hopefully they can do that here again this afternoon, and it's something that the Twins have done a good job of so far, scoring runs in the first inning, 6th in the American League in that department.
Scoring figures to be a tough challenge for the Twins in Game 1. Marty Gellner, Bert Blylev, and Dick Bramer, and a very important day for the Twins, a defining day for both the Twins and the Indians. Paul Molitor's Twins can officially eliminate the Indians from the wild card race. That simplifies things. And more importantly, of course, they can greatly enhance their chances with a good day at the ballpark. The Menards batting order for Game 1. Brian Dozier leading off. Joe Mauer batting second and playing first. Then Miguel Sano, Trevor Plouffe, Eddie Rosario, Torrey Hunter, Eduardo Nunez, Kurt Suzuki, and Byron Buxton.
And the lineup facing 28-year-old Carlos Carrasco. Carrasco making his 30th start, his second against the Twins. Twins actually beat him back in the middle of August. Tommy Malone ended up beating him 4-1, but Carrasco pitched very good, 7 very good innings in that outing.
First pitch popped up short center field. Coming in as Abraham Almonte. And Dozier very quickly is the first out of the ball game. Northland Ford defense for the Indians. And a bit of a different look from what we thought we would see if we were playing last night. Mike Aviles is in left field. Michael Brantley's been shut down for the year, so the Twins won't have to deal with Cleveland's best player. Almonte in center. Jerry Sands is in right. Jose Ramirez is at third. Lindor Kipnis up the middle. Jesus Aguilar at first, and Yan Gomes behind the plate. Chad Whitson brought in for this doubleheader. He's got first base with Alan Porter behind the plate. Onora and Ripperger on the bases as well for the opener. Bauer takes outside, ball 1.
Carrasco with a good fastball, good moving fastball. When he's on, like Kyle Gibson, he'll get a lot of ground ball outs. Works in a curveball, slider, and a changeup. Joe Mauer, good numbers against Carrasco. 6 hits in 14 at bats.
And Mauer takes outside, 2-0. Carrasco was okay in the first 3 months of the year, but boys, he turned it up a notch in the second half. He's had 4 dominant starts where he's given up. In 3 cases, he went 9 innings. In another case, 8 2/3 innings, and giving up 2 hits or fewer in those starts. There's a strike, 2-1.
Well, this is a guy that the Cleveland Indians have been kind of waiting to see what he's been able to do, because they have always been high on this guy. He's coming off an outstanding start in his last start in Kansas City, a 1-hit shutout over the Royals
with 15 strikeouts. Mauer takes outside, 3-1. Now the Twins catch a bit of a break here because we have cloudy skies. This is the time of the day when shadows can be a big issue for hitters. And we won't have any shadows, at least very rare shadows with the overcast skies. 3-1 to Mauer with 1 gone in the first. And a drive down the left field line, foul, 3-2. Yeah, 1 hit to the Royals in his last start, 9 innings. Then he had a 1-hit, 9-inning effort against the Angels in early August. 8 2/3 against the Rays, and just 1 hit allowed. Another 9-inning performance in Oakland against the A's, where he gave up 2 hits. He's been very, very good. Full count to Mauer. And a drive to center field. Almonte going back, and that ball is gone. A home run. Mauer hits his 10th of the year. A no-doubter to center field.
Boy, he clobbered that ball right there to straightaway center. Home run number 10 for Joe Mauer. And what we're hoping for, Twins take an early lead. It's a 1-0 lead thanks to Mauer's home run. It looked like a fastball. 3-2 pitch. And Joe taking it straightaway center. Almonte, the center fielder, watch his reaction. Takes a couple steps back. And he realizes that ball's over the fence.
So a quick start for the Twins. Another first-inning run. And now here's Miguel Sano.
Measure that home run at 413 feet.
And Sano fouls it back. The wind not howling, but gusting in from right field. And so that'll be a factor as well on any ball hit to right center and center field. Might help push a ball foul down the left field line. Inside, 1-1.
I mentioned the Twins beat Carrasco earlier on August 16th. Tommy Malone ended up beating him 4-1. In that ball game, Carrasco worked 7 innings. He gave up only 2 runs. Twins have had good luck against him. He's only 1-4 in 8 career starts against the Twins.
Sano takes a strike, 1-2. Cody Anderson was supposed to pitch this game last night. If it were played last night, he instead will pitch the nightcap tonight. 1-2 to Miguel Sano. Tap foul. There are some practical complications for the Twins in having to play a doubleheader today. You worry about the bullpen, the relievers, whether any of the guys can be used in both games, and if so, how much. But also, Sano's been limited to DH duties, and it might otherwise be a situation where Torrey Hunter would play right field, say in one game, and DH the other. But the Twins have that option pretty much taken away from them. Sano hasn't played in the field in weeks. This one fouled back, and it's still 1-2. And then to the catcher. The Twins might very well come back with Kurt Suzuki in the night game, depending on how long this first game is, how many pitches and pitchers Suzuki has to catch in the first game. But beyond that, I mean, you have to look at it from a player's standpoint, don't you, Bert? As just being a great opportunity to make a statement here today.
Well, there's 6 games left. You know, I mean, you got all winter to rest. You have to win now.
Grounder to third. Ramirez has it. Fires across. Sano retired finally. 2 down.
3 here and then 3 at home against the Kansas City Royals. That's it.
Twins even in the loss column with the Astros. Angels have 1 fewer loss than the Twins. Angels playing a 4 o'clock game out in the West Coast this afternoon against the Oakland A's. The A's starting Barry Zito in that game, and their starting lineup for the final game does not have Billy Burns or Billy Butler.
And Barry Zito might be his last start as far as his career.
With Sonny Gray's spot in the rotation, but the A's decided to go with Zito instead. 1 strike to Trevor Plouffe. A big first inning home run here a couple nights ago against Kluber. And off the plate. 1-1.
Carrasco in his 6th season with the Indians. He went through the Tommy John surgery, missed all of 2012. This is a career year for him so far.
Swing and a miss on a fastball.
14 wins. Last year he threw a career high 134 innings. He's now at 182 innings now.
Fouled away. Carrasco making his last start of the season. And the Twins will face Anderson tonight. It'll be his last start tomorrow. Trevor Bauer, his last start of the season.
It's a good time for a fan to come to Progressive Field here with that foul ball. There's a good chance everybody here could get at least 1 foul ball.
Sparse would be a good word to describe the crowd here today for the opener. And a called 3rd strike. Delayed call by Alan Porter, but Plouffe is rung up. The Twins get on the board in the first on Mauer's 10th home run of the year.
See ya!
A home run to center field. Terry Francona's Indians still mathematically alive, but flickering playoff hopes. And he'll set up this Menards batting order. Jason Kipnis in the leadoff spot. Jose Ramirez batting second. Then Francisco Lindor, Carlos Santana, Yan Gomes, Abraham Almonte, Jerry Sands, Jesus Aguilar, and Mike Aviles.
And it'll be 28-year-old Kyle Gibson on the mound, making his 32nd start, his second straight start against the Indians. He lost to Cody Anderson last week in Minnesota. So Kyle will know in the first 3 innings. Those very, very important for Kyle to put some zeros up early.
And that was his issue against the Indians. Kipnis hit a leadoff home run to the opposite field against Gibson at Target Field. Then Chisenhall got a big 2-out, 2-run single later in the inning. It was one of those days for Gibson. It just got started off on the wrong foot, and he couldn't get it back on the right foot.
Yeah, Gibson has a good fastball. He'll throw the 4-seam, the sinker, get a lot of ground ball outs when he is on. There's a slider right there missing, and a changeup.
1-1 to Kipnis. 3 for 8 with the home run. 5 walks against Gibson. And off the plate, 2-1. Later in Gibson's start against the Indians, a couple innings later, Carlos Santana hit a 3-run home run. And the Indians put up a big early number against Gibson. Tapper right side. Dozier charges, has plenty of time to make the play. 1 down. Northland Ford defense for the Twins. An outfield of Rosario, Hicks, and Hunter. And an infield of Plouffe, Nunez, Dozier, and Mauer, and Suzuki behind the plate.
A good start for Gibson right there. 4 pitches, gets a ground ball out. There's Byron Buxton in center field.
Yeah, I said Hicks, it's Buxton. And the first pitch fouled back. Nothing wrong with either Escobar or Hicks. They were both in the starting lineup last night. They will play in the second game here tonight. 1 strike. And Ramirez takes outside a ball. Gibson just 2 2/3 innings, the 7 hits and 6 earned runs against the Indians in his last start on September 24th.
Yeah, that was his shortest start of the year.
And trying for that outside corner, missing again. 2-1. It's odd because that was the 5th series for the Twins against the Indians. This the 6th, obviously. 3-1. And it was Gibson's first outing of the year against Cleveland, and they cuffed him around pretty well.
Well, they have really cuffed him around pretty good in his career. In 6 career starts, he is just 1-2, but an ERA at 6.99.
Ramirez takes 3-2.
So he has struggled. His 1 win did come here in Cleveland, making his 4th career start here at Progressive Field.
And a pitch up, fouled back.
But all in all, the starters have been doing a real good job here in the month of September, and especially over the last 8 ball games. Starters for the Twins are combined 6-1 with a 2.5 ERA. And Ramirez takes called for strike. Kyle's last start, as you mentioned, Kipnis started off with a home run in Target Field the other way. Gave up a couple more runs in the first inning, down 3-0. Had a shutout second inning, but in the 3rd inning, it was Santana hitting the home run. A 3-run home run, and Kyle's afternoon was done.
2 down, and now Francisco Lindor. And a breaking ball for a strike. Lindor having a great rookie season and having a even better rookie season against Twins pitching. Swing and a miss, 0-2.
2 good sliders there. First one for a called strike. That one underneath the swing of Lindor, a switch hitter. hitting .311 as a left-handed hitter, .333 as a right-handed hitter.
And Suzuki sets up outside. The pitch delivered there. It's 1-2.
That's where you want your pitch when you're ahead in the count. See what Alan Porter, the home plate umpire, will give you, what he won't give you. Now going back inside of Suzuki.
Another hit. Lindor on a 1-2 pitch with a sharp single to right.
He waited back very nicely on that slider that stayed up a little bit and lined it into right field. So he continues to punish Twins pitching.
Lindor now 3 for 3 against Gibson.
Wanted to throw that slider the way he did on the second strike. That one kind of hung up about thigh high, and Lindor waited back nicely and gets a first hit off of Gibson.
His 18th hit in 39 at bats against Twins pitching. And now here's Carlos Santana. And Lindor on the very first pitch. Suzuki's throw on the wrong side of the bag, and Lindor advances into scoring position.
Yeah, Lindor now with 10 stolen bases in 12 attempts. Got a great jump off of Kyle Gibson. He went on first movement, and Kyle's done a pretty good job of holding on runners. He does have a couple pickoffs, but Lindor went on first movement and got into scoring position.
Opponents now 9 for 10 stealing bases with Gibson on the mound. 1 strike to Carlos Santana. One and one.
Well, he just showed you it was Santana that hit the 3-run home run that chased Kyle Gibson in his last start. Santana, a switch hitter. Indians have 3 switch hitters in order: Ramirez, Lindor, and Santana.
Missing the inside corner, 2-1.
That's where you want to be careful right here. Every pitch so important. Twins need a win here this afternoon. You cannot make a mistake to a power hitter, especially from this side of the plate in Santana.
2-1 to Santana. On the outside corner with a breaking ball. Gibson's actually been a little bit more effective against left-handed hitters than right-handed batters. His opponent batting average good from both sides of the plate. Overall, .255. Two and two. Just missed, and Gibson took a step toward the dugout. He thought he had strike 3, and it's a full count.
Again, you want to find out what that home plate umpire will give you, what he won't give you. Wow, that's a good pitch right there. You can see it had plenty of fox tracks in the strike zone.
And now you need to come back with a better pitch.
The thing is, what I've seen Porter, he hasn't given much on the outer half of the plate either.
Big pitch here, 3-2, and the pitch hit on the ground. Dozier in right field, fields and throws, and Gibson leaves Lindor at second base.
And Suzuki's talking to Porter right there.
A 1-0 Twins lead. They are hoping for a doubleheader sweep today in Cleveland.
Mauer's home run. Now we start the second inning in Cleveland. And Paul Molitor talked before the game about mentally being prepared for today's doubleheader, saying there are going to be a lot of ups and downs when you play so many innings in one game. The guys need to be ready for this. It also changes things in the starting pitching rotation, the trickle-down effect, and that is that Saturday's starter for the Twins will be Tommy Malone. Sunday's starter is yet to be determined. For today, Trevor May is available out of the bullpen. The back has settled down a little bit for today, and Phil Hughes is also available. Dickenberg, a lot of things get shuffled and jumbled when you have a rain out and come back with a doubleheader. The Twins are adjusting today.
Thank you, Marty. Like I said, 6 more games for the Twins. You have all winter to rest, so everybody should be on board to want to participate in these ball games. And you're going to have aches and pains, but you know what? Right now, you got to play through it.
1 strike to Rosario. At some point, adrenaline just kind of takes over anyway,
yes,
right?
does.
I mean, the excitement, the enthusiasm. Yep. What Marty was talking about, though, is interesting because it might very well be, depending on how things go today and whether there is some substance to Sunday's game that wraps up the regular season, or at least the scheduled part of it. Twins have thought about the possibility of bringing Gibson back on 3 days rest. He's got a chance yet, if he does that, to be the only Twins pitcher with 200 innings pitched. 2-1 to Rosario starting the Twins' second inning. And that's just foul up the line. 2-2. Rosario, Hunter, and Nunez here in the second inning. Two and 2 to the rookie, and got a piece of it to stay alive. Night game again tomorrow night, and then the Twins have a weekend series at home against Kansas City. A night game Friday, a game Saturday that's been switched to noon, and then a 1 o'clock game on Sunday afternoon. Paul Molitor's team with 81 wins. Rosario spins another one over the screen. September's been good for the Twins, 14-12 so far. They have seen an Angel team rip off 7 wins in a row, most of them by 1 run. And now the Angels are in the second wild card chair, with Houston in between the Angels and the Twins. And lifted foul, and Rosario having a good battle here with Carrasco.
Yeah, Carrasco, a strikeout pitcher. He had 111 strikeouts coming into the ball game. That's 6th most in the American League. He had a game earlier this year against the Tampa Bay Rays where he pitched a 1-hitter. Actually, 30 of his pitches were swings and misses in the ball game, the most in Major League Baseball this year.
Another 2-2 to Rosario. And another foul ball. Rosario's name not brought up in Rookie of the Year discussions. Lindor here with the Indians, Correa of the Astros, the 2 most prominent names. To a lesser extent Sano, and then to a lesser extent Rosario, who's actually been here longer than Sano. And another foul. Rosario battling. He's only gotten 14 walks, 3 of those intentional, in 434 at bats, and he has struck out 114 times. There's Sano. And there's a strikeout. 1 down. Second strikeout for Carrasco.
Chris Sale leading the American League with 267 strikeouts, and like I said, Carrasco coming off an outing at career high 15 strikeouts in his last start in Kansas City against the Royals.
There's Torrey Hunter, and Paul Molitor will no doubt listen to the 40-year-old outfielder as to what he wants to do. I don't think there's any question what he wants to do, but whether it makes any sense to have Hunter play both games and in what capacity. Again, if you slide Hunter tonight into the DH spot, you very likely are going to lose Miguel Sano, who hasn't played third base in more than 3 weeks.
And don't be surprised if Torrey's out in right field for game 2 if game 1 goes well.
1 strike and a tapper foul. He has hit very well here. He's hitting nearly 500 here in Cleveland this year with a lot of extra base pop, a lot of doubles and home runs. Carrasco gets ahead of him 0-2.
And Torrey 6 hits and 18 at bats against Carrasco with a couple home runs.
Checked his swing, but he went, Alan Porter says. And it's 3 straight strikeouts now for Carlos Carrasco.
Well, see if Torrey went. Yeah, he went too far right there.
We'll bring up Nunez. Nunez getting the start in Detroit Sunday. And picking up 3 hits, getting the average up to 275. Trevor Plouffe, along with a number of other Twins, dealing with a flu bug to further complicate matters here at the end of September. Nunez pops it up. Ramirez. And now Aguilar comes in, makes the catch. And the Twins go down 1-2-3 in the second inning. Tommy Malone will join us from the Twins dugout next. On Monday, Phil Hughes came to the ballpark unable to pitch. Tommy Malone got the ball. Boy, did he do a good job.
Yeah, he really did. Took it into the 6th inning. And the Twins ended up winning that ball game, and Tommy Malone ended up getting the win. And we have Tommy Malone down in the dugout. Tommy, how you doing?
You guys doing?
Good, good.
Very good, thank you.
When did you get notified that you might make the start here on Monday night?
I think about 3:30. I was getting ready to go out to do my normal routine I needed to do to be ready for the pen, and then I got word, so obviously didn't do all that.
Did that bother you? I mean, you dealt with a little bit of a sore elbow earlier this year, then your shoulder was kind of stiff, but you took the ball.
Yeah, I felt pretty good, coming off my my bullpen I had on Saturday. So that was obviously one of the factors that factored into it. I started feeling a lot better. Shoulder started feeling good, so I gave him the okay that I was ready to pitch, and just kind of ran with it.
Tommy, I always mention it. Kyle Gibson pitched to Yan Gomes right there. In that first inning, I know you're watching a ball game. He threw a ball to Santana, looked like strike 3, but it was called a ball. How important is it for you as a pitcher, and you're not an overpowering pitcher, you've got to hit your spots, for that umpire and your relationship with him, and also Kurt Suzuki behind the plate?
You know what? A lot of things can happen throughout the course of the game. Obviously, sometimes I might not agree with umpires and their strike zone or anything like that. But, you just kind of roll with the punches. I think Zook does a really good job back there kind of controlling the game, and he'll probably talk to the umpire if he thinks it's a strike, just kind of throughout the game, things like that will kind of transpire.
Yeah, the reason I asked that, Tommy, is because after that Santana ended up hitting a ground ball to Dozier for the final out, it was Kurt Suzuki that stayed around home plate and talked to Alan Porter about, hey, we need that pitch right there. And what I'm saying too, a lot of youngsters might throw out their hands if, say, you're a pitcher and you don't get the call and you kind of show up the umpire. That's the last thing you want to do, right?
Yeah, you know what? As a pitcher, I think you got to try to keep your composure. Go out there and just continue to do your job. Obviously, you're not going to agree with every single pitch or every single call that they call, but I think that's the job of the catcher back there, to kind of keep communication with the umpire and kind of keep him on his game.
Tommy, you've had an interesting year. You were sent down to the minor leagues. You've been in the rotation. You've been in the big leagues. You had a great month down in AAA. That's not where you want to have a great month, I know. But just physically, Bert mentioned you had some forearm issues and some fatigue in your shoulder. How different do you feel now than you did a year ago when you had the terrible neck issue you were battling?
Oh, it's night and day difference. I haven't felt anything one time this year in my neck, so that's obviously a huge relief, especially this late in the season. Obviously I want to try to stay as healthy as I can, especially when we're in the playoff push, and that's the name of the game. Obviously as a starting pitcher, you want to get as many starts as get deep in the games, throw as many innings as you can, and help out the team.
Good news for Twins fans. Kyle Gibson getting some swings and misses, and now 3 strikeouts. That'll bring up Jerry Sands.
Yeah, Monte right there. Good changeup. And, Tommy, you got a great changeup, but you also throw in on righties a lot to set up that changeup. That's part of your game, correct?
Yeah, that's a huge part of my game, actually. Fastball command just in general is very important, and going in is obviously, sets up the changeup, sets up really anything. Just kind of keeps them off the outside part of the plate. And once I can command that, especially early in the game, if I can command it early, it seems to go well throughout the rest of the game.
Swing on a foul, 2 strikes quickly to Jerry Sands.
Is that something that you were, let us say, you're born with, or where'd you learn to pitch that way?
I mean, I really kind of pitched that way my whole life. Obviously, when I'm a young kid, I'm obviously not trying to go inside. I'm just trying to throw strikes. But, really back in high school, I've always been able to command the zone, throw strikes in and out, up and down, and change speeds.
What an inning for Gibson.
3 swinging strikeouts. Tommy, thank you very much for being with us. Good luck in your next start on Saturday.
You're going to be on there again if they go 1, 2, 3 like that. Thank you.
No problem. Thank you, guys.
Presented by Century Link, your link to what's next. By NorthlandFord.com and your local Northland Ford dealer. And by Grand Casino. The best stories start here. Well, Gibson pitching well. He's got a 1-0 lead. Kurt Suzuki will lead off the third for the Twins, and Byron Buxton and Brian Dozier. Suzuki takes strike one. Suzuki's average down from a year ago. He's actually hit for more home runs this year. He only hit 3 last year. He drove in 61 runs last year in his All-Star season and has 50 on the season this year. 1-1. Twins have already won the season series with the Indians. They've also won the season series with the Chicago White Sox. Lost the season series to the Tigers and can still win the season series with the Royals. The Indians, on the other hand, have lost the season series to all 4 teams in the American League Central. Over the inside corner, and it's 1-2. Each starter with 3 strikeouts. Actually, Gibson has 4 strikeouts through 2 innings.
Well, no surprise here in Cleveland because they have struck out the most American League batters. And so far they lead the American League in strikeouts as a staff.
We said when we saw Cody Anderson, Mickey Callaway, the pitching coach, we saw Cody Anderson in Minnesota. He doesn't really fit into the rest of this Cleveland rotation. And on a half swing, Suzuki's out on strikes, 1 away.
And strikeout number 4 for Carrasco.
Everybody else in the Indian rotation, a high strikeout starting pitcher, and Anderson's more of a pitch to contact guy. The Twins will see him tonight. 1 down, and here's Buxton getting the chance to start in center field. Buxton hitting his first major league home run Sunday in Detroit. Takes a fastball and strike 1. Swing and a miss, 2 strikes.
An off-speed pitch right there. Buxton swinging through it.
th pitch of the afternoon for Carlos Carrasco. And Buxton gone on 3 pitches.
Yeah, nasty slider. Perfect spot. Strikeout number 5.
5 strikeouts, first time through the Twins order, and now Brian Dozier. Dozier on the first pitch he saw hit a short fly ball to center. Almonte hauled it in. Then Mauer hit the home run for the only run of the game. Strike on the inside corner.
.41 pitches for Carrasco, 32 strikes.
Toward the hole, cut off by Ramirez. Across the diamond, now a 1-2-3 third inning for Carlos Carrasco.
Gibson has had a very good start so far here today. He struck out the side in the second inning, and before this start, Gibson talked about moving his pregame work, meaning the timing of it, to make it closer to the time he would actually pitch in the game. He said that sometimes he would finish a bullpen session and then sit in the dugout for 20 minutes before he actually threw a pitch. So he wanted to try to close that gap to see if it would make a difference in helping some of the early inning struggles he's had. Today, I watched Kyle Gibson walk into the Twins dugout from the field at 4:09, literally 1 minute before first pitch. The Indians were on the field. Carrasco was out there throwing his warm-up pitches. So it looks like Kyle did make that adjustment in his pregame routine. And Dick and Bert, whether that made much of a difference today, we don't know. But maybe in his mind, that's all Gibson needed to do, was put the two a little bit closer together.
Yeah, thank you, Marty. And you said the big thing right there, in his mind. You know, every pitcher has a different routine. We saw Brad Radke really struggle throughout his career in the first inning. He tried so many different things, sometimes warm up twice, and it's up to that starter to determine what he feels best. You know, to throw 15 minutes, 20 minutes, do you start warming up? It's every starter has a different routine.
Wow, another swinging strikeout. Jesus Aguilar goes down on strikes. Gibson not only getting strikeouts, but swinging strikeouts. I'll bring up the left fielder, Mike Aviles. Now, Aviles is in left field because Michael Brantley is not. The Indians determined today that he'll not play for the rest of the season, remembering that he injured his right shoulder at Target Field last week. Making a great effort and nearly making a great catch, but he sprained his shoulder and is done for the year.
Well, he had another outstanding year for the Indians. You don't like to, you want to finish and play that last game, but Brantley, he's had two very good years together. Ended up hitting .310, 45 doubles, 15 home runs, drove in 84 runs.
1-0 to Aviles, and a swing and a miss, and Brantley doing all of that, even though for good chunk of the season he was beset with some back issues, and now the shoulder issue. 1-1 to Aviles, 4 for 7 in his matchups against Gibson, and now 1-2. Again, to talk about Gibson and his preparation, that's to me one of the things that's intriguing about the notion of maybe bringing him back on Sunday. How many times have we stood up here when Gibson's had an extra day of rest and said, well, he's a sinker baller, he's too strong. Now the opposite then should also be true, right? If you bring him back a little on short rest, a little more fatigue, maybe that sinker ball on Sunday would have a little extra life to it. Here's a ball lifted to left, playable for Rosario. And out number 2.
Well, one thing I have noticed on Kyle Gibson, at the beginning of the year, he was really over on that first base side of the pitching rubber. And about 3 starts ago, Neil Allen and Kyle Gibson talked about it. And what they want him to do is get more toward the middle part of the pitching rubber. I still don't understand why right-handed pitchers always worked off the first base side. We were taught growing up to be a little bit even more right than that, but he's pretty much right in the middle of that pitching rubber now. And believe me, if you've ever stood out on a mound and you move from one side of the pitching rubber to the other, it's amazing what a difference it looks when you attack a hitter.
1 strike.
It's a 19-inch pitching rubber, and you think, well, just moving, a couple 4 or 5 inches over, does it matter that much? But when you're out there and you're, say, over on the right side and you're dealing with the left-hander, it's so much easier to hit the outer half of the plate. And to me, the work part of pitching, here's a line drive base hit into left field. Work part of pitching was always working out front. So to throw a lefty in, you've got to really get out there, which helps the curveball.
Another 2-out single for the Indians. Lindor got one in the first inning and then promptly stole second base. We expect Gibson to keep a pretty close eye on Kipnis here, with Ramirez at the plate.
Now Kipnis 11 stolen bases, but he's also been caught 8 times. So going back to where Kyle now stands on the pitching rubber, I think I like that. I like that he's moved over toward the third base side.
And there's the first throw.
Gibson pretty quick home. That's about all you can do. He does have a couple pickoffs this year, but make that runner stop, and that being Kipnis. Make him start from a dead run.
Kurt Suzuki's had difficulty this year that he didn't have last year. He hasn't had as good a year throwing behind the plate.
No, but a lot of that is, if that runner is halfway or 3/4 away already, they get a good jump off the pitcher. That puts a lot of pressure on Suzuki.
I think what we've seen, Kurt doesn't have the strongest arm in the world, but he needs it to be very accurate, and his throws have scattered around a little bit throwing to second base.
Well, again, it could be because that runner is halfway already and you're trying to hurry your throw.
1-0 to Ramirez. And now down low in the dirt, 2-0. Haven't found a reliable way of getting Lindor out, and he's in the on-deck circle. So Gibson's going to try to come back from 2-0 and get Ramirez.
See, I want Ramirez to swing the bat right here. I'm not going to walk this guy, and I'm not going to worry that much about Kipnis. Ramirez is a 220 hitter. You got to get this guy out right here. You got 2 outs on the board.
And he misses 3-0. Ramirez has only walked 30 times this year and nearly 300 at bats.
That's where sometimes speed, of a potential base stealer, sometimes you lose your concentration. Your object here is to get this guy out.
3-0. And on the outside corner.
And you have to do it again, which makes Ramirez a better hitter.
Ramirez with 21 extra base hits and just under 300 at bats. Three and one.
Kipnis could be taking off here. Could be like a hit and run because he knows that Kyle Gibson, I think everybody, all 12 people in the ballpark here, know that he's going to throw a strike with a fastball.
Kipnis stays put, and the pitch popped up short right field.
He got the fastball and popped it up.
And Hunter comes in to make the catch. I do think, to be fair, we've crossed that threshold. There are more people out of uniform here at Progressive Field than in uniform.
It's time.
Such an important game for the Twins to win this game, and Kyle Gibson 5 strikeouts. He's given up a couple singles. And for the Cleveland Indians, Carlos Carrasco, he also has 5 strikeouts. The only damage right there off the bat of Joe Mauer, second hitter of the ball game. Joe Mauer hitting his 10th home run, and the Twins have a 1-0 lead.
Mauer's home run, the only hit allowed by Carrasco, and it's Mauer leading off the 4th, and Sano and Plouffe. Mauer takes strike on the outside corner.
I think what I'm seeing right now, Alan Porter's kind of opening up his strike zone a little bit. In that first inning, I think both pitchers had thrown good pitches away that were called balls.
Strike two.
You know, you pitch on the outside part of the plate. You want to try to stay away from the middle. So, you know, if you can cut that down to an inch or two on either side of the plate and hit those spots, that's how you make that 17-inch plate become a 23-inch plate.
And a ball lashed to the gap in left center field on an 0-2 pitch. It'll get to the wall, and Mauer has a double. Carrasco on 0-2 got a little too much of the plate. And Mauer has his second extra base hit.
Mistake right there by Carrasco, and Joe Mauer took advantage of that high pitch. So right here ahead in the count, a slider that just kind of spun outer half, and Joe went down and hit that ball sharply in the left center. So both hits for the Twins off the bat of Joe Mauer, a home run and his 33rd double.
And now Sano with a man in scoring position.
Got to find a way to get Joe in right here. Twins need to continue to add to that 1-0 lead.
Sano with a bouncer to third in his first inning at bat against Carrasco. And fouled away. Twins go through situational hitting drills during batting practice, and of course, case of a lot of hitters, it's, you know, get them over from second base, get them over to third. Then there are guys where they say trade places with them. Sano is a trade places with them kind of guy.
Like he did on Monday night here in the first inning. A double by Joe, and then he hit an RBI double. And then Plouffe hit the 2-run home run.
Slow breaking ball and strike two, and that's been a problem for Sano. As much as his great an impact as he's had in this Twins lineup, and the Twins would not be where they are now without Sano hitting in the middle of this lineup. He's very, very strikeout prone.
113 times he has struck out in 259 plate appearances. But when he does make contact, outstanding numbers.
0-2 to Sano, and a ball lined to left, and that ball lands on the ground. And Aviles gets it back to the infield. Sano with a single. Looked like Aviles was in position to maybe make that catch, but he pulled up, and Sano on an 0-2 pitch gets a base hit.
Yeah, I mean, Carrasco making some mistakes here when he's ahead in the count, and credit Sano. Pitch inside, he pulls that ball, and you know, Aviles, we've seen Aviles over the years a lot of times in the infield, not too much in the outfield, and that ball had a lot of topspin on it. That had Harmon Killebrew type topspin, and Aviles played it in front of him.
Plouffe called out on strikes his first time up, and he's up in a big spot here, first and third, nobody out. Carrasco's thrown nothing but strikes, but he has been burned twice already this inning on 0-2 pitches.
Yeah, he has only thrown 9 balls, 48 pitches, 39 strikes.
Plouffe toward the hole and through. Mauer will score. Sano to second, and it's 2-0 Twins.
And Trevor Plouffe leads the club in runs batted in, now with 85 on the year. Every RBI for Plouffe is a career high. We highlighted Trevor in our open, the importance and how well he's done this year. A big hit right there, scoring Joe Mauer.
Have to be happy for Trevor. He's bounced into so many double plays. And that sharp ground ball, so many times that's been hit at somebody for a double play, and instead that time it found a hole. And Plouffe now with 85 runs batted in. Here's Rosario, had a 10-pitch at bat against Carrasco before finally striking out.
Well, Carrasco has had 17 double plays turned behind him. And hitters came into the ballgame hitting only 225 off of them.
3 straight hits here to start the 4th inning. And Rosario takes a strike on the outside corner.
Yeah, 50 pitches, 41 strikes.
Off the plate, 1-1.
He's actually pitched better on the road this year than he has here at Progressive Field. 9 of his 14 wins on the road.
High and tight, and it's 2-1. Carrasco, like Kluber last year, maturing late as a pitcher. You mentioned he's 28 years old, and it all seems to be coming together for him this year as it did last year for Kluber at the same age.
Yeah, the Indians brought him up in 2009. He made 5 starts back in 2009 as a starter, and he's 0-4 next year. 7 starts, couple wins. And then they kind of, he had the Tommy John surgery. Then they kind of played with him a little bit. They would keep him in a bullpen or they start him. And last year, even 14 starts, 40 appearances. He was kind of in and out of the rotation. And then this year, just in the rotation. There you go. You've earned it. Now do the best you can. He's put together a very good year. 14-11 on the year. ERA at 3.4 coming into the ball game.
In a tough spot here. Now 3-1 to Rosario. And he takes a walk, and they're loaded up. Still nobody out with Hunter coming to the plate. Time now for you to tweet your strongest fan photo. Use hashtag NorthDataStrongFan, and you might see yourself in an upcoming broadcast brought to you by T-Mobile. Trip to the mound by Mickey Callaway. Mentioned Hunter's hit very well here at Progressive Field this year. Nearly 500 with a cluster of doubles and home runs, and he's in a big spot here with the Twins already up 2-0.
Yeah, Mickey Callaway with a quick trip to the mound. He's done a very good job here with this pitching staff.
Did a great job with Ubaldo Jimenez a couple of years ago, and then Kluber last year, and Carrasco kind of his prize prospect, I guess, if you can call someone 28 years old a prospect. But he's very highly regarded. Callaway is.
Yeah, as far as earned run average in the American League, Cleveland's pitching staff second behind the Houston Astros.
Hunter with a chance to give the Twins some breathing room. Fox Tracks presented by Ram. Hunter out on a check swing. His first time up. Strike one. Indians infield shortened up a little bit. Indians have had a hard time scoring runs. Sharp ground ball hit at somebody might see them get the force play at home. Just outside, 1-1.
Again, Torrey, good numbers coming into the ball game against Carrasco. 6 hits and 18 at bats. He did strike out in his first at bat. Went around a little bit too far. Called out on strikes.
Stroke to the corner in left field. Sano will score. Plouffe will score. Rosario to third. He's being waved in. Throw to the plate is not in time. Torrey Hunter has cleared the bases with a double.
What an inning for the Twins right here. Kind of opening up this ball game. Twins now 5-0 lead thanks to Torrey's 3-run double. Carrasco making some mistakes. Mauer, Sano hit 0-2 pitches. And Torrey jumping all over that fastball there. Ball rode right back into that swing of Torrey. And Torrey finished the season strong. Remember, he went through that slump where he's really struggling. Well, he has been swinging good for the last 2 weeks. And a big 3-run double for Torrey, his 22nd double of the year.
And now he's got 80 runs batted in. Nunez, the batter. Still nobody out in the inning. Up and in, ball one.
Now Nunez, you know, he's a good fastball hitter, but his job here, still nobody out. Try to get Torrey over to third.
Down and away, 2-0. Indians are activating their bullpen here. 3 very effective innings by Carrasco. Just the mistake to Mauer, but then on an 0-2 pitch, another mistake to Mauer. We got a double. Ryan Webb warming up. And now inside 3-0, and Carrasco suddenly has lost it.
He's only thrown, I believe, 2 strikes over the last 10 pitches he's thrown.
To Nunez. He takes one down the middle. Getting back to Hunter, we talked about the doubles. Here at Progressive Field, Torrey now has 5 doubles, 3 home runs, and 11 runs batted in, just in the games here in Cleveland this year. 3-1 to Nunez. That's to the right field corner and back into the seats. And the stands filling in nicely now. There's maybe 1-2 fans for every row here in the lower section. That's what happens this time of the year when a night game is postponed, and they did the right thing, in my opinion.
Oh, yes.
Having a conventional doubleheader here. Sparse as the crowd is, there wouldn't have been any more people here at 1 o'clock for a split doubleheader. And Nunez takes ball 4.
Well, he just missed with that breaking ball. Second walk of the inning for Carrasco.
And he's done for the day. And this is not how the Indians imagined Carrasco's season ending. Terry Francona will come out and get him. He is unable to retire any of the 6 batters he's faced here in the 4th inning. So dominant in his last start against the Royals, and knocked out early here this afternoon. Good numbers put up on the board.
You know, as a pitcher, you want to stay away from the crooked numbers, but that's exactly what the last 4 ball games have created. The Twins, a couple times, I mean, here in Minnesota, put up crooked numbers. And then it was the Indians that put up 3 runs in 2 innings against Kyle Gibson. And then a couple nights ago, here Monday night, the Twins in the 1st inning, 3 runs, took an early lead. And then here in the 4th inning, so far with nobody out, the Twins have put 4 runs on the board thanks to Torrey Hunter's 3-run double.
Suzuki will bat against Webb, one of 9 right-handed relievers for the Indians.
Yeah, Webb in his first season with the Indians, making his 40th relief appearance.
Suzuki went down swinging on a check swing to start the 3rd inning. Carrasco coming into this 4th inning. It faced 10 men, retired 9 of them, the exception the Mauer home run. And then it all crumbled in his hands here in the 4th. Suzuki to left field. Avila's going back, and he makes a catch of the line drive. And Hunter, playing it halfway, gets back, and getting back to first is Nunez, one away. Fox Sports North is proud to partner with Girls on the Run Twin Cities to empower girls to be healthy and confident. Join us for the Alaris Mortgage Girls on the Run Fall 5K, Saturday, November 14th at Harriet Island Pavilion. To register, visit foxsportsnorth.com and click on upcoming events. You can make a special trip back for that. Middle of November. It's been a while since you've been in Minnesota that time of the year. Get you back. Get you some exercise.
I can exercise at home, too.
Here's Buxton, struck out on 3 pitches, took a fastball. This time he swings at a pitch, tapping it foul. Buxton took a fastball and then swung and missed at a couple of off-speed pitches for the second out of the 3rd inning.
Twins saw Webb in Minnesota. He's sinking fastball. He's got a hard slurve type breaking ball and a changeup. Tall drink of water, 6'6", about 245.
Tapper to third, stepping on the bag and firing across. One of the few times Buxton will ground into a double play. Webb faces 2 men, gets 3 outs, but before that, the Twins had 4 in the 4th. Five to nothing Twins, a 4 spot for the Twins in the top of the 4th inning. And our carsoup.com trivia question: who was the last Major League Baseball rookie to have an on-base percentage over 400 for a season with a minimum of 400 plate appearances?
Right now it's Miguel Sano.
Well, an on-base percentage of just under, and Lindor a little bit below that. Pirates, of course, will be without Gong for the balance of the year after his leg injury. Piscotty hopefully will come back for the Cardinals after his horrific collision the other day. I saw that, and of course the first thing I thought of is what happened to Byron Buxton last year in Double-A. Piscotty collision in the left center field. Buxton,
Borges,
yeah, and Buxton was in right center in Double-A. Gibson delivering strike 1, now ball 1, pitching now with a 5-run lead. Lindor, Santana, and Gomes in the Cleveland 4th. And up high, 2-1.
Yeah, well, you don't change your way of approach just because you have a 5-run lead right here. You have to think it's still 0-0.
2-1 to Lindor. Single to right, stole second in the first inning. Off the plate, 3-1.
Gibson with 5 strikeouts, 4 of them coming in succession in the second, and then striking out Aguilar to start the third. They can swing the bat.
Another base hit. Twins can't get him out. Lead off single. And Lindor has another hit against the Twins. Listen up to find out how you can buy tickets to potential postseason games at Target Field. Now available, the general public's able to buy tickets to a potential wild card game as well as any division series game played at Target Field. They're on sale now, and all you have to do is visit twinsbaseball.com to pick up your tickets to October baseball. Here is Santana, grounded to second, with Lindor stealing second on the first pitch after his first inning single. So naturally there's a throw over here in the 4th inning.
One thing Gibson's been able to get is ground ball outs, especially double plays. 27 double plays turned behind him. Only Mike Pelfrey, Games 2 starter, has had more.
Fouled off a foot. You would think, wouldn't you, that there'd be a number of ground ball double plays with the 2 Twin starters going on both ends of this doubleheader. And Santana still feeling that foul ball. Lindor now 19 for 40 against Twins pitching this year. Lindor spun his wheels a little bit but got back to the bag. Pirates beat the Cardinals this afternoon. 3 games behind St. Louis. Now in the National League Central. 1 strike. There goes Lindor, and the pitch taken. Throw to the bag. Not in time. Another stolen base.
Another great jump off of Gibson. So Lindor staying out of the double play with his stolen base. Look at the jump that he got right there, and he's well over half the way there by the time Suzuki wound up to throw to second.
Santana took strike 2. Softly hit, and Gibson makes the catch on a weak pop-up, 1 down. Gibson showing off some range there. We've seen him make some very athletic plays around the mound. By his standards, that's pretty easy.
Yeah, he's a good fielding pitcher right there.
1 down. That'll bring up Gomes.
We've got deep into the kitchen of Santana, who kind of hit it straight up. Got jammed. And really, Gibson the only one that could have made that play for the first out.
Here's Gomes. Went down swinging in the 2nd inning. Down and away, ball 1. The Indians with 3 hits. Lindor's single here in the 4th, the first time they've had a hit with less than 2 outs in an inning. A strike taken.
Gomes swinging at a slider to strike out in the 2nd inning. 6 hits and 12 at bats against Gibson with a couple home runs. And for Kyle, stay away from the multi-run inning. That's what's really hurt him this year.
And now 1-2. Mentioned Gibson has a chance if the Twins bring him back on Sunday, or if there's a game 163 and a game 164. There are some scenarios out there that will get Gibson back on the mound during the regular season. He's the only Twins pitcher that has a chance at 200 innings pitched. 3 1/3 today and 192 on the season. And a half swing, but he went, and Gomes has gone on strikes 2 down.
Second time he went down on that slider. So strikeout number 6 for Gibson.
And now Almonte went down swinging his first time up. Lindor still at second after his leadoff single and almost immediate stolen base. Ball 1. Indians trading Michael Bourne, opening up center field for Almonte. 2-0.
Yeah, they'll take a good look at him, which they have really the second half. He was traded over to the Indians from the Padres in late July. Didn't get to play with the Padres that much. 31 ball games, hit only .204.
And now 3-0, bases open. Sands on deck. A couple of 3-ball counts for Gibson. He's yet to walk a batter. A strike taken. Gibson roughly a walk for every 3 innings pitched on the season. 3-1 to Almonte. And he missed. And now first base is filled for Jerry Sands. Sands has got some pop. And he too went down swinging his first time up.
Yeah, Suzuki out to talk to Gibson again. You know, when you get that 5-run lead, you don't start nitpicking a little bit. Throw the ball, get it over the plate. Too many times we've seen this from a Twins starter, get a nice comfortable lead and then cough it up right away. Sam's a guy that does have some pop in his bat. 137 minor league home runs in his first season with the Indians.
Want to stay out of as many of these situations as you can with the bases congested. 2 on, 2 out. And Sands takes ball 1.
Yeah, Sands originally coming up with the Dodgers, and then he also spent time last year with the Tampa Bay Rays. Three different stints this year. A September call-up. Excuse me, got called up in late July.
Breaking ball hangs over the inside corner, 1-1. Pitch count starting to climb for Gibson, trying to wrap up business here in the 4th. In the neighborhood of 70 pitches. Missing inside. Tonight's starter for the Twins, Mike Pelfrey, has not averaged so much as 5 innings pitched in his last 6 starts, so they know they'll need the bullpen extensively tonight. They'd like Gibson to do a better job of protecting the lead. A check swing and a strike, 2-2, and pitch deep into the ball game.
Right. Well, 70 pitches now. He had 49 after 3 innings, 21 in the first, 12 in the second, 16 in the third. And you just want to get some quick innings so you can get into the 7th inning.
2-2 to Sands. And now a full count with Aguilar on deck.
First 3 innings he attacked the strike zone. Here now all of a sudden he got a 5-0 lead. He thinks he needs to nitpick. I thought he did the first 3 innings a good job of working the outer half of the plate. Now they're going back in. He's falling behind and getting into hitters' counts.
Runners will take off here on 3-2. Chopper over the mound. And an easy play for Nunez, and the Indians strand a couple in the 4th, and Gibson survives a wobbly inning, and the Twins still lead 5-0. Mountain Dew fans of the game. Twins fans enjoying the proceedings so far through 4 innings. A 5-0 Twins lead. Twins in position to perhaps get into a wild card tie for that second chair with the Angels if they can win 2, and if the Angels were to lose later today, with the Astros in between them in the standings right now. Dozier will lead off the 5th against Gavin Floyd, and the first pitch up, ball 1.
Gavin Floyd coming back from elbow surgery, most of rehab this year, making just his 7th appearance. Signed a minor league contract.
And up and away, 2-0. Floyd's had a history of elbow issues. Signed a 1-year deal with the Indians. Hasn't been able to help much for health reasons.
He's had 2 Tommy John surgeries since 2013, and then in spring training that elbow flared up again and had his 3rd operation on the elbow. Guy that had some good years with the Chicago White Sox. A 17-game winner back in 2008.
A high fly to left center field. Deep. Avila's back to the wall, and he makes the catch right in front of a 370-foot sign. 1 down. The wind is blowing in from right field. I don't know that it impacted that ball too much. With the wind blowing toward, would have blown that ball toward the foul line a little bit. 1 down.
Yeah, I think Brian thought that he had enough of it to get it over that high wall, but Avila went to the warning track to make the catch.
Joe Mauer at the plate. He has had perhaps his 2 most impactful consecutive at bats of the season. In a game the Twins all but have to win, Mauer hit a home run in the first inning against Carrasco, and then on an 0-2 pitch in a 1-0 game leading off the 4th, he rifled a double, and Carrasco never did retire a batter that inning. And the Twins were able to score 4 times. 1 strike, and now a ball. One and 1 to Mauer. 2-1. We were giving weather reports here last night all night long, but this just handed to me. 18 miles per hour, the wind speed, gusting to 26. Tapper in front of Ramirez. Over to Aguilar, 2 down. And that'll bring up Miguel Sano. Follow live Twins baseball every day with MLB.com at bat on your smartphone or tablet. Stay connected to the Twins all season with MLB.tv game of the day, in-game highlights, live look-ins, replay reviews, radio broadcasts, and more. You can browse the app's new features, including StatCast tracking videos and bilingual access for Spanish-speaking fans. Download MLB.com at bat, the #1 app for live baseball. Here's Sano on an 0-2 pitch. He cracked a single to left. And now on a half swing, ball 1. Two and 0. Sano's put the ball in play twice. Once for a hit. That's been about his season average. When he puts it in play, there's a ball hit to right center field, and that's hanging in the air for Sands. He comes in, makes the play, and Gavin Floyd has a 1-2-3 fifth inning.
circle me signs, you might find yourself in a Minnesota Lottery's winner circle, where you could win $100 worth of lottery scratch-off tickets courtesy of the Minnesota Lottery.
I don't know if they are just coexisting or huddling together for warmth, but Indian fans and Twins fans together, nice to see that.
I love this time of the year. It starts to cool down a little bit.
I would think from a pitcher standpoint, you get a little revitalized,
yeah,
right?
You feel stronger. You feels really do.
Gibson would like to have a strong fifth inning here. Yes. He delivers up and in to Aguilar, ball one.
Aguilar getting recalled just about a week ago as their season ended in AAA Columbus. Got a good year down there. Big guy.
Weakly hit on the ground to Plouffe across the diamond, one away. And Gibson relieved to get that first out. He had a difficult time in the fourth, pitching around the leadoff single and stolen base, but he did put a 0 up, and if he can get through the fifth inning here in a handful of pitches, he'd love that.
You know, we saw Santana, remember in Detroit, he had a high pitch count the first 4 innings, and then he was able to get through 7 innings, and I think that's what the hopes that Neil Allen hopes that Gibson can do here. Have some quick innings in the 5th, 6th, and 7th.
Ball one to Aviles. Aviles with a fly to left his first time up, now 4 for 8 against Kyle Gibson. To center and hit pretty well. Buxton going back and on the edge of the track hauls it in, 2 down.
And 2 quick outs.
Let's get caught up with the Twins up 5-0.
Well, in the top of the first inning, Joe Mauer putting the Twins up quickly, 1-0. Second batter of the ball game, his 10th home run of the year. And then in the 3rd inning, Twins opened up to a 4-run inning. Mauer double, Sano single, RBI single, and then the big hit in the inning was a 3-run double by Torrey Hunter. And Kyle Gibson, 6 strikeouts, has given up only 3 hits, all singles.
Here's Kipnis. He got one of them, a 2-out single in the 3rd. Strike 1. Mentioned at the outset, this is the biggest start for Gibson in his professional career, coming off what was his biggest start. When you're in a pennant race and you're in the rotation and you've not gone through it before, unless you pitched through and pitched in postseason play into the World Series, these regular season starts in September are critical. 2 strikes and now a ball. So I would imagine from Gibson's standpoint, coming off his shortest start of the year against the Indians, he wanted this game. He wanted this opportunity against the same team that knocked him out the last time out.
Oh, for sure. And so far, so good for Kyle.
1-2 and out to right center field, and Hunter won't get it, and it sticks in the wall. And Kipnis will go to second, and they will award Kipnis a wedged double with 2 outs in the 5th.
Yeah, the Indians bullpen in the chain link fence with that little bit of padding. It hit right on top of the padding and the bottom of the chain link fence. Well, Kipnis going down, getting his 2nd hit, first extra base hit off of Gibson. Solid swing. Kipnis putting it together another great season. And a ball hitting the chain link fence and then sticking in there.
Second base umpire Brian Honora holding up 2 fingers. It would have been a double even if Torrey had not been able to quickly retrieve it. Here is Ramirez with a runner at 2nd and 2 down. In the dirt, ball 1.
Well, you look at this Indians ball club for next year, you have to be, pretty happy if you're Mickey Callaway or Terry Francona about the starting staff going in. Their bullpen pretty good with Allen being their closer, but they need to tweak some offense. They need more offense.
2-0.
You got Brantley, you got Santana, you've got Kipnis.
This Cleveland team has a starting rotation that in my mind rivals the Astros. The Astros can throw a lot of really good starting pitching at you, and so too can the Indians. 2-0 and now fouled back. The difference has been the lineup just hasn't produced runs. And now in this game and for the balance of the season now they'll be playing without their best hitter Michael Brantley. 2-1 to Ramirez. Called out on strikes in the first, hit a fly ball to Hunter in the third. 3-1, and Gibson had a chance here in the fifth inning to have an easy inning, and he's threatening to face Lindor with 2 men on base.
He got the first 2 outs very quickly, and then the double to Kipnis. 84 pitches.
3-1. Popped up. This situation in the third inning, he was in danger of walking Ramirez. Came back from 3-0 to get him on a fly ball to right. Hoping for the same result here in the fifth. Twins would prefer Lindor leading off the sixth inning. Foul back. Indians almost certainly will finish third in the American League Central. In terms of placement, the only battle really is for last place. White Sox a game ahead of the Tigers coming into play today.
And who would have thought going into the season that was the other, they were supposed to be fighting for first place.
Yeah, I think a lot of people, with the exception of the Royals, who are leading the division comfortably, they've already clinched the division. 3-2 to Ramirez. Struck him out, a high fastball, and Gibson leaves another runner on. In the fifth, he's got 5 shutout innings and a 5-0 lead. Is presented by Toyota. See where Toyota takes you. Test drive one at your Toyota dealer. Toyota, let's go places. By Sanford Orthopedics and Sports Medicine, for the everyday competitor in all of us. And by McDonald's, the classic quarter pounder with cheese, only at McDonald's, and right now just $3. Kyle Gibson with 5 shutout innings. Twins with a 5-0 lead. Trevor Plouffe drove in a run his last time up with a single. He drives one to right. Sands retreating, making the catch on the edge of the track, and a quick first out here in the 6th for Gavin Floyd. Today is a sad day in Twins history for those of us who were introduced to Major League Baseball at Metropolitan Stadium in Bloomington, Minnesota, a southern suburb of the Twin Cities. On this date, 1981, they played the last game at Metropolitan Stadium. The Kansas City Royals were in town. Appropriately, it was a gray, drizzly day. And perhaps appropriately, the Royals beat the Twins that day 5-2. One down in the 6th. Here's Rosario.
Yeah, but then the next year they went into the Metrodome with no air conditioning and the playing surface like you're playing on a basketball court outside, cement.
Super springy, spongy artificial turf and a 7-foot wall all the way around the field. There were balls that went out for ground rule doubles on the second hop. 1-1 to Eddie Rosario. Drew a walk to fill the bases in front of Hunter's 3-run double. Little pop-up short center field. And Almonte coming in. And a quick second out for Gavin Floyd. Now Hunter to the plate. And tonight, be sure to catch Fox Sports Live on Fox Sports 1 for complete highlights and analysis of everything that happened in Major League Baseball today, plus the latest from the NFL and the world of sports. Fox Sports Live is tonight on Fox Sports 1 and streaming live on Fox Sports Go. Marty Kellner, Bert Blyleven, and Dick Bramer here at Progressive Field. A conventional doubleheader, meaning one ticket will get you in for both games. Foul to the screen, 1 strike.
Don't remember what year it was, but I believe the Twins were the last team to have a scheduled doubleheader against the Oakland A's on their schedule.
I think some other teams have done it in recent years, but it's the last one we were involved with at the Metrodome. That's how long ago it was. 1 strike to Hunter.
You mean to where it's actually on the schedule?
Yes. Yeah, I think the Oakland A's have done that, in fact.
Yeah, as a player, I mean, back in the 70s and 80s when they had the scheduled doubleheaders on the schedule, it was kind of neat, really. You could either on Sunday.
And Floyd makes a nice backhanded pickup. Hunter retired, and it's a quick 1-2-3, top of the 6th. Of some of the talented rookies in the American League. These two teams, Lindor heading the class for the Cleveland Indians. Gibson will try to figure out how to get him out. Lindor hitting .500 against the Twins, and he's 4 for 4 against Gibson.
Well, I think if the Twins had a vote on this, they would pick Lindor.
Both at the plate and in the field.
Yeah.
He's just put on a highlight reel in the season series against the Twins. 1 strike from Gibson. 2 more singles for Lindor against Gibson today. 1-1. Just 21 years old. Twins are boasting rookies. Rosario just turned 24 the other day. Sano 22. Buxton 21.
You know, some guys come up. We were talking about Rosario feeling it looks like he's comfortable here, that he belongs here. Same thing can be said for this young 21-year-old. Rosario just turning 24 the other day. Started the season down in AAA. Lindor did. Called up on June 14th from Columbus. Wasn't tearing up Columbus, hit .281, but boy, he's brought up his hitting up here from both sides of the plate.
Well, 3-1. Gibson delivering strike one and now misfiring 3 times. Lindor with 24 walks and a little under 400 at bats. Chop foul, 3-2. Carlos Correa, very impactful for the Astros, as Sano has been for the Twins. Lindor. Of course, the Twins also regularly playing Rosario, a rookie. Buxton in the lineup today. 3-2. Just missed the corner, and Lindor draws a leadoff walk in the 6th.
Yeah, second walk for Gibson.
Another rookie for the Twins that hasn't gotten much mention, but he may be one of the key guys for the Twins for the balance of the regular season and the postseason. Should they get there's Trevor May. Trevor May is still listed as a rookie pitcher. He was a starter. He's been a very valuable 8th inning reliever for the Twins in the second half of the year, but he's had some back issues and hasn't been able to pitch on a regular basis. The Twins were hoping to use him in one of these 2 games today. Here is Santana.
And he knew there was going to be a throw over. Lindor already has stolen a couple bases off of Gibson. That's why that leadoff walk. Got to make him swing the bat there.
Almost like a leadoff double.
Yep.
Twins have had a tough time controlling the running game. And a look over.
See, again, you want to pay attention to him, but you don't with a 5-0 ball game. And if you understand what I'm saying, get a ground ball right here. Just work the ball down and away. Hopefully Santana will beat it into the ground. Then you get a double play.
There's a dribbler, and now Gibson has to go to the bag and finds the bag right before Santana got there. Lindor was probably going to steal second anyway, but you got Santana.
Well, he did get the ground ball. He just didn't hit it hard enough. The only play they had, Joe maybe had a chance to get Lindor at second, but you get the out right here, and that's what they did.
If it's a 1-0 ball game, maybe you try for the out at second, but it's 5-0. Here's Gomes. He struck out twice against Gibson. Gibson approaching 100 pitches. There's some activity in the Twins bullpen. Again, tonight's starter Mike Pelfrey has had a terrible time pitching beyond the 5th inning in his last 6 starts. And so the Twins anticipate leaning on their bullpen heavily tonight. It's Blaine Boyer, first arm up out of the bullpen this afternoon. Swinging a foul, 1 strike.
Well, these are must wins. You can't worry about if Gibson's going to come back Sunday or whenever. I mean, this is a do or die situation for the Twins. So if he has to throw 115 to 120 pitches to go 7 innings, he's got to do it. Got to get out of this inning first.
1 strike to Gomes.
117 pitches is the most Gibson has thrown in a ball game.
Foul tip, 0-2.
I like the way they're going around Gomes, because Gomes came in, I mentioned, 6 hits and 12 at bats against Gibson, but throwing him a lot of breaking balls. Gomes, good fastball hitter. Struck him out twice on sliders down and away.
0-2.
And Suzuki sitting outside.
And Suzuki digs out a slider in the dirt.
Kyle making his 32nd start. He has 1 complete game. That was an 8-inning loss to the Royals 5 starts ago, excuse me.
1-2 to the Cleveland catcher. Struck him out again on another breaking ball in the dirt. 2 down.
And strikeout number 8 for Gibson.
Lindor still at second with 2 out, and was promised earlier in the game. selected the Data Strong Fan photo of the game. You can tweet your strongest fan photo to hashtag #NorthDataStrongFan for a chance to be featured in an upcoming broadcast. Brought to you by T-Mobile. Almonte, the batter. He has not put a ball in play. He struck out in the second and walked in the fourth. Out in front of the changeup. Strike one. How would you rank Gibson's pitches? He's got, let's just call the fastball one pitch. He's got two of them, but fastball, changeup, slider.
I'd go fastball first, then changeup, then slider, in that order.
Oh, so I listed them in the right order.
Right.
Okay.
I think his changeup is very, very good. I think when we have seen him struggle a little bit, he's had trouble with the breaking ball, but here today, he's had a pretty good slider. 100 pitches right now, 60% have been over the plate. Pretty good, huh? California man.
Very good.
Thank you.
2 strikes to Almonte.
Eight strikeouts for Gibson. A season high and a career high. 9 strikeouts in a ball game earlier this year against the Brewers.
That's poked foul. Almonte trying to protect the plate. One good pitch away from pitching 6 shutout innings in the biggest start of his career. Another 0-2 to Almonte. 1-2.
Yeah, Gibson making his 73rd career start. 25 wins, 27 losses, ERA at 4.49.
One and two. The Cleveland center fielder just missed that corner. He's tried that 3 times to end an inning, and I think he's just missed all 3 times.
Let's take a look at the pitch right there. He's got that little 2-seamer that'll run back over. See Porter, Alan Porter, right there, right over the right shoulder.
2-2.
And Suzuki.
Got him.
Good changeup.
And Gibson pitches around the leadoff walk. 6 shutout innings, and the only question is, does he have one more left? With the Twins up 5-0.
Joe Mauer hitting his 10th home run of the year gave the Twins an early 1-0 lead, and it was 1-0 until the 4th inning. when the Twins erupted for 4 runs. A double by Mauer, Sano a base hit, RBI single by Plouffe, and then the big hit of the inning, the 3-run double by Torrey Hunter. And Kyle Gibson has taken it from there. 6 shutout innings. He's thrown 104 pitches, a season high, and tying a career high right now at 9 strikeouts. He's given up only 4 hits.
He's done as good a job as you can of scattering 4 hits and 2 walks. Strike 1 to Eduardo Nunez, leading off the 7th against Gavin Floyd, who's pitched a couple of quick 1-2-3 innings.
You see Paul Molitor talking to him.
No activity in the Twins' pen. Boyer was warmed up, and now off the plate 1-1. Don't take that as an indication they're going to ask Gibson to go one more. Fouled back, and again, it might be as much of a indication of the situation involving the second game with Mike Pelfrey just struggling to pitch deep into ball games, and the Twins knowing that, hey, we might need 4 or more innings from our bullpen tonight.
Well, who knows? This might be Kyle's last start too. Again,
Yeah.
you got all winner and rest. Watch out,
Nunez just barely missed getting hit by that pitch. I think he escaped the pitch.
Yeah, Gavin Floyd, he's retired all 6 batters going up and in on Nunez, and thank goodness Eduardo able to get out of the way of that high fastball.
You can see from the center field camera, Nunez's head moves toward the plate and diving toward the plate, and he just barely missed getting hit by that pitch. 2-2. And now 3-2 with Suzuki on deck. The options, having declared Tommy Milone the starter on Saturday, and if Sunday's game carries the weight that the Twins hope it does. Ball hit to left center field, and Nunez rifles one to the gap. Almonte won't get there, and Nunez has a double, and he will hold up there. It might have come up a little lame, or did he just lose the helmet? Yeah, he's fine.
What do you mean, did he lose the helmet? It's just a matter of when.
I think the helmet hit him in the calf and slowed him down as he pulled into second.
You know, and that's a scary part, because that helmet flies off of his head, and you know, that bill right there, I mean, that could come back and hit your Achilles.
Well, remember last year in New York, Danny Santana went into third base and the helmet came off and the bill cut him above the right eye, and he had to leave the ball game and have stitches.
It's a double for Nunez, his 14th of the year, and the first hit off of Gavin Floyd.
Suzuki 0 for 2, and we were talking about the get them over guys as opposed to the take their place guy. Suzuki's a get them over guy. We would expect the ball hit to the right side here. Wouldn't take much at all to get Nunez up 90 feet. Remembering that Buxton, very strikeout prone, is the on deck hitter.
And a lot of people say, well, it's 5-0 swing away, but that's still good baseball. And saw Suzuki right there just trying to hit that ball over toward Kipnis at second base.
Kurtz had a couple of frustrating at bats. He struck out on a half swing leading off the third, and then he swung at the first pitch from Webb with 2 men on and nobody out, and hit a liner, hit it well, but gathered in by Aviles in left center field. And now a swing and a miss at the fastball, and it's 0-2. Twins out hitting the Indians just 6-4, but again, one of those innings where they bunched their hits together. 4 hits, 4 runs. There was a walk. 6 straight batters reached in the 4th, knocking out Carrasco. And Suzuki protecting the plate. Flips one foul.
Floyd's always had a good curveball, and you know what, if anything happens here with Floyd, don't know what he's in, if he's in the plans with the Indians, but he's showing other clubs that he's healthy. He pitched 2 1/3 innings in Minnesota in relief.
You saw what I think a 94-mile-per-hour fastball in the mix. 2 strikes. Ooh, just past Buxton and off the screen in front of one of the suites. field level suites here. Two strikes to Suzuki. And in the dirt. Paul Molitor saying this afternoon there's a chance Suzuki will be asked to catch both ends of the doubleheader. Something, as we all read details of Yogi Berra's career, I think the number was 112 times he caught both ends of a doubleheader.
Unbelievable.
Nowadays, it's a foregone conclusion. You will change catchers as you would your starting pitcher for a doubleheader. But we'll see what happens tonight, and it might have something to do with how many pitches Suzuki has to catch and how many pitchers. There's Chris Herman. He, in all likelihood, would catch the nightcap if Suzuki does not. 2-2. And Suzuki strikes out. 2 down, or 1 down.
It looked like a cut fastball slider, and Floyd picks up his first strikeout.
October means baseball, and Fox Sports 1 continues to be your home for postseason action, the American League Division and Championship Series. Don't miss a moment of the drama and history. It all begins October 8th on Fox Sports 1 and streaming live on Fox Sports Go. Let's hope to be in the playoff field for the first time in 5 years. Buxton's 0 for 2. He struck out on 3 pitches in the third, and then with runners at first and second, 1 out, he had a one-hopper to Ramirez near the first or third base bag, and now Nunez will steal third base. Didn't advance there during the Suzuki at bat, and Nunez felt ignored by Floyd, and he stole third base.
They got a very good jump. Watch Floyd with that high leg kick, and goes throw. Gomes with an outstanding arm behind the plate, but Nunez steals a base, his 8th of the year.
Forces the Indians to bring the infield in. 1 strike to Buxton. And 1-1 now. And a busted bat, base hit to right field. Nunez will score. Buxton drives in a big run, and it's 6-0.
Yeah, his 5th RBI for Byron Buxton, and that's a good at bat as the season winds down. You know, he hit his first home run the other day in Detroit. And then right here, Floyd with a fastball down and away off the end of the bat. But it lands in right field for an RBI single. Twins take a 6-0 lead.
Twins 4 for 7 with runners in scoring position in the game, including that flurry of hits in the 4th inning. And now Dozier 0 for 3. A warning track fly ball his last time up. Buxton a threat to steal, even with the lead 6-0. Buxton 2 steals and 4 tries. Ball 1. This is Eduardo Nunez's run here. He got nearly drilled by a Floyd pitch, and then a couple pitches later drove a double to the gap in left center field. Suzuki didn't advance him, so he stole third, forced the infield in, and Buxton looped a base hit to right to score him. 1-1. Hunter with the biggest hit of the game so far, a 3-run double in the 4th. And Buxton back to the bag. Long hold by Floyd. And Dozier takes ball 2. Twins needing a win, hoping to gain ground on first Houston and then the Angels, but a Cleveland loss would officially eliminate them from the wild card chase. It was 2 years ago the Indians won their last 10 games and won the first of the 2 wild card spots in the American League. Hosted the game here against Tampa Bay. Here's a high fly left center field, and Aviles with the catch. That's out number 2, and it may take a similar run by the Twins here this year. This late in the season, they've got to get by 2 teams. As you look at the standings, the Angels replacing the Astros for that second wild card spot.
And you see the losses right there between the Twins and the Astros. Angels have 1 less loss. So remember, the Angels are going to be playing the Texas Rangers in a 4-game series.
And they'll be playing for a wild card spot, but principally the division championship, which the Rangers have held that for quite some time now. But starting play today, it's just a 2-game lead for the Rangers over the Angels. Mauer outside, ball 1. Mauer with a first inning home run, his 10th of the year, and then the double leading off the 4th on an 0-2 pitch that triggered the 4-run 4th. In the 5th, a ground ball to 3rd. 1-0. And now 1-1. Butch Davis, what happened?
My goodness.
Right in front of his own dugout, too.
I think you heard somebody from the dugout letting him have it.
I'm guessing that was it sounded like Escobar to me. It could have been Nunez, I suppose. 1-1. Toronto's well on its way to its 92nd win. They're leading Baltimore 8-0.
Boy, Baltimore all of a sudden having a tough time scoring runs.
They really have not recovered from the 4-game sweep the Twins handed them in August at Camden Yards. Twins swept the season series with the Orioles. They won all 7 games. 1-2 to Mauer. Twins adding 1 so far here in the 7th. One and 2. And more attention paid to Buxton now that there's 2 strikes on Mauer.
That's the longest inning or outing for Floyd as a reliever, making his 7th relief appearance. Worked 2 1/3 innings last week in Minnesota against the Twins.
Blocked by Gomes. 2-2. Been a long half inning here. I think that would greatly diminish Gibson's chances of coming out for the 7th inning, but we'll see. Two and 2. And a little roller to the left side. Backhanded by Lindor. Mauer retired and the Twins are done. They get a leadoff double and another run in the 7th.
Buxton drove in the Twins' 6th run of the game. He got the start in center field in game 1 today. And I asked Torrey Hunter before the game if he will still pull Byron Buxton aside before a start like this, given the significance of the game. And Torrey said, well, we still talk a lot because he comes up to me all the time, and I'm always giving him advice because he's always asking me for it, and I love it. Torrey said he's pretty confident, he's pretty capable in Buxton, but he knows how big these games are, and he is ready. And Dick and Bert, you just love to see that. A young rookie picking the brain of a veteran player like Torrey.
They just don't do it enough. Thank you very much, Marty.
One of the reasons, even though Buxton's numbers are down from what the Twins hoped, one of the reasons they're so convinced that it will click for him and soon. He works so hard at what he does, and he's got aptitude. He learns quickly. And so there's very little concern at this point that Buxton is not going to be an impact player. He's out in center field, and Blaine Boyer's on the mound.
Yeah, Blaine Boyer has been outstanding. Now, he was on a disabled list. He had a little bit of an elbow issue that when he was activated on August 26th, he has pitched now 15 2/3 innings of shutout baseball. Over 15 outings. He has done a tremendous job out of that bullpen.
And it really has been a case this year for the Twins where if they've had some adversity, someone has stepped up at the right time. Glenn Perkins had some health issues and some ineffectiveness. Well, Kevin Jepson stepped in and he became the closer for the Twins and has been brilliant. In the case of Boyer, he came back from his physical limitations at a time when Trevor May was beginning to experience some of his. Now, Boyer isn't asked to pitch in the 8th inning very often, but Casey Fiend moved to the 8th inning role, and Boyer filled in earlier in the ball game. Bouncer headed towards the middle and through. Jerry Sands has a leadoff single in the 7th.
This copyrighted telecast presented by the authority of the Minnesota Twins and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Minnesota Twins, LLC.
Leadoff man has been on now for the 3rd time, 2nd inning in a row. Sands at first, and here is Jesus Aguilar. And Aguilar takes a strike on the outside corner. Second game here today, about a half hour after the first game.
Aguilar, a couple stints with the Indians this year. Good numbers in the minor leagues. 19 home runs. He drove in 93 in back-to-back singles off of Blaine Boyer.
And again, these situations you want to keep at a minimum. You've got a 6-0 lead, but the Indians very quickly get 2 men aboard. with nobody out in the 7th. Boyer hasn't had many situations where he's given up 2 hits in an inning, and they come very quickly here to start the 7th. Aviles 0 for 2, couple of outfield flies. And a first pitch strike. Where with just 2 hits allowed in his last 6 outings, and now 2 quick ones here in the 7th inning. One and one. Lineup turns over after Aviles with Kipnis in the on deck circle. Two and one. Trevor May, it was hoped, would be able to pitch in one game but not both. Neil Kotz warming up quickly. If Aviles reaches, he may be brought in to face Kipnis. Popped up. Infield fly rule should be called. And is. So Aviles retired, 1 away. And now Kipnis. A lot of things coming into play here, not the least of which is the Twins adding a run on the top of this inning. Otherwise, Kotz might be brought in here to keep this inning from mushrooming into something with a lot of anxiety for the Twins dugout. Kipnis with a single and a double against Kyle Gibson. Buxton's base hit, making it a 6-0 ball game. Cleveland 0 for 8 with men in scoring position on the night. Strike on the outside corner, and Kipnis didn't like it. And it's significant too that as Kipnis hits, and then Ramirez, Lindor, Santana, the Brantley's not in the mix. Indians have had a rash of shoulder issues, and Kipnis has had some shoulder issues himself this year. 1-1. Brantley done for the year with a shoulder problem. Giovanni Urshela, their outstanding defensive third baseman, might get a chance to play yet, even though he's got a sore right shoulder. 1-1 to Kipnis. And a base hit to right field. Sands to third, and he will be waved around to score. 3 singles, and the Indians are on the board. It's 6-1. Kipnis with his 3rd hit of the ballgame.
He picks up an RBI with this single, his 52nd of the year.
Now the switch hitters, Ramirez, Lindor, and Santana. And Blaine Boyer having a disappointing outing, and he'll be taken out.
It's the first run that Boyer has allowed since August 26th. So he's going to need a little help from his friends in the bullpen.
It'll be Neil Kotz to try to get the 2nd and 3rd outs and not allow a 2nd or a 3rd run for the Indians. after 15 2/3 scoreless innings. He gave up 3 hits and a run. Zubaz Palooza returning to Target Field. Special offer that includes a reserve seat for the game Friday, the opening game of the Kansas City series, and your very own limited edition Minnesota Twins Zubaz pants. Take advantage of the special offer, available exclusively by logging on to twinsbaseball.com/Zubaz. I'm guessing TC there wearing the double XLs.
I'll get a pair of those. Well, Neil Cott's coming in a ball game, making his 16th relief appearance. That's since coming over from the Brewers, where he made 51 appearances out of their bullpen before getting traded over on August 21st.
Ramirez not doing much from either side of the plate, but a little bit better from the left side. Twins will turn them around here. Cott's hoping to get a ground ball, maybe get the Twins off the field with just the 1 run allowed. Strike 1. Lindor's been good from both sides of the plate. Santana with higher average from the right side of the plate, more power from the left side of the plate. 1 strike. 2 strikes. Ramirez not a high strikeout guy, about 300 at bats and only 37, well, twice today now, 38 strikeouts. 0-2 from Kotz. Fouled to the screen.
Ramirez only 23 years old, signed by the Indians out of Dominican Republic.
One and two.
That's very good slider.
And it's pulled foul.
Yeah, that slider into the camera well. Kotz first came up to the big leagues with the White Sox back in 2003, part of the 2005 World Series. White Sox also pitched for the Cubs, the Rangers, earlier this year the Brewers.
1-2 to Ramirez. 2-2. And he has stepped in and pitched well in a role that Brian Dunsing would normally pitch in. Dunsing's had some neck issues and he's been bothered by the flu. This might be a spot where we would typically see Dunsing, but instead it's Kotz. Fiend warming up. 2-2. Liner to third. Double play. A bullet to Plouffe. To Dozier to double off the runner Aguilar. And the Indians get 1 in the 7th. And Tulowitzki unable to play, but the guy that I think really turned that team around, the acquisition of David Price, because their rotation has been outstanding. They can slug the ball with no peers in the league, and they are going to be, I think, a very dangerous team in the postseason. They'll have the opportunity, one would think, to set up Price for the playoffs. They are battling the Royals for the best record in the league to establish home field advantage, and they have the edge on the Royals now. CC Lee is going to be the next Cleveland pitcher.
Yeah, CC Lee, this is his first appearance since being recalled. He made an appearance against the Tigers earlier in the year, spent most of the season, almost all of the season down at AAA.
So no, 1 for 3, a single and a run scored. One other thought about the Blue Jays, and a very, I think, underappreciated, underpublicized acquisition has been that of Ben Revere. Fouled back. Revere just simply asked to hit ninth, get on base, catch the ball, track it down in the outfield, steal some bases, score some runs, and he's done a really good job.
He's done all of that.
We know he's going to hit 300. He's hit 300 everywhere he's been. And that, I think, is going to be an awfully big acquisition.
Well, he's got that bubbly personality, too, you know.
1-1 to Sano. And a called strike, 1-2. Sano's 1 for 3 and has yet to strike out in this ball game. And now 2-2. Again, if Sano were able to, we might see him play third base in the nightcap. I don't think Paul Molitor will do that. Sano hasn't played there in more than 3 weeks. But I'm sure he'd like to. Paul would like to get Torrey Hunter off the field, maybe to DH. 3-2.
Well, you see Lee, not a big guy, 5'11", 190 from Taiwan in his third season up with the Indians, up and down the last 3 seasons. Kind of a side armor, fastball, and then the sweeping slider.
And a close pitch. Sano takes it for a walk. Twins and the Royals this weekend at Target Field, and Fan Appreciation Weekend is Friday and Saturday, presented by U.S. Bank. All fans receive a Twins stocking cap presented by West Bend. Sunday is Kids Appreciation Day, when the first 10,000 fans 14 and under will get a TC stocking cap courtesy of our family brands. Farmer's Almanac must be calling for a cold winter. Call 800-33-TWINS or visit twinsbaseball.com to get your tickets. Fouled away by Plouffe.
You know, go back to Sano again. We have seen so many times he's up at the plate 3-2, and that's his 49th walk that he has taken in 75 games. Yes, he strikes out a lot, but boy, when he makes contact, the ball jumps off his bat. But pretty good eye at the plate, too, as far as drawing walks.
Fouled back again, 2 strikes. Plouffe with an RBI single in the 4-run fourth. And Trevor chases. A strikeout, 1 away. We'll bring up Rosario.
Yeah. Plouffe striking out for the second time in a ball game. Lee picking up his first.
Rosario drew a walk in the 4-run fourth, struck out in the second, hit a fly ball to center in the 6th. Mentioned there are 9 right-handed relievers for the Indians. 2 lefties. Ball 1. Swing and a miss, 1-1. Twins trying to pick up a win today that would guarantee a winning record for the first time in 5 years. But beyond that, there are higher, loftier goals for the Twins, and that is to get into the playoffs again. Ground ball right side, a base hit for Rosario, and Sano will hold up at second base.
Well, Rosario picking up his first hit of the ball game.
And that'll bring up Hunter.
The hitter for the Twins, right fielder Torrey Hunter.
Hunter with a 3-run double that all but knocked out Carlos Carrasco in the fourth. Carrasco stayed in to face one more man, walking Nunez. With 80 runs batted in on the year. He takes one down the middle of strike. Won't have anybody with 100 runs batted in. Plouffe leading the team with 85. One and one.
Torrey last year for the Tigers drove in 83 runs.
Dean and Tonkin getting loose. At the knees, a strike, 1-2. Hunter strikes out. 2 down.
Good slider right there by Lee. Picks up his second strikeout. Struck out Trevor Plouffe on a high fastball. And Torrey Hunter on a good slider down and away.
We'll bring up Nunez. Popped up to Aguilar in the second. Walked in the fourth. And then started the 7th inning with a double to left center field. Couple of pitches after he nearly took a pitch in the jaw from Gavin Floyd. Then he stole third and scored on Buxton's flare to right field. Ball one. Nunez with the double, and then Suzuki struck out, failed to advance him. So Nunez stole third base and was able to come home easily on the single to right. 1-1. And lifted foul. One and two. This day when both teams are asked to play a conventional doubleheader, Gavin Floyd did a nice job for the Indians, going 3 innings, giving up just the 1 run. Tried to zip a fastball in the outside corner, just missed it, and it's 2-2.
Yeah, Lee doing a good job of keeping the ball down in the strike zone. Signed by the Indians in 2008 out of Taiwan. Last year he made 37 relief appearances out of that bullpen. This is only his second.
Foul back. Two and two to Eduardo Nunez, getting the start at short for the Twins. Wow, that's the second one that's come in high and tight to Nunez. And he's lucky neither one of them hit him.
This one he just fell straight back.
You can see
you got to be flexible to do that.
You and I could do that. The difference is Nunez is standing up again.
Dave Prumer would be out if we did that.
3-2. You can see Nunez's head again. It dives toward the plate. A lot of hitters do that. You end up being very susceptible to a pitch up and in. Off the knuckles, and that might land on the ground and be a tough play. Nunez will beat it out.
Might want to go pick up his knuckles down that first baseline, but Nunez gets his second hit.
I think he hit the first hit better, didn't he?
He will take it, believe me.
Hitting from Minnesota,
The smile.
Hard to grip your helmet when you don't have any thumbs left.
I got all of that one.
They're loaded up now for Suzuki with 2 down. Suzuki with a couple of strikeouts. He is tough to strike out, but he has struck out twice tonight, and then hit the ball hard once to left field, hauled in by Aviles. Fouled back, 1 strike. Twins out hitting the Indians, but just by 9-7, yet they've got a 5-run lead. Foul back, 2 strikes. Suzuki 425 at bats, only 57 strikeouts. He's one of the toughest guys the Twins have to strike out. Twins have 6 players with 100 or more strikeouts. Landed 4 feet in front of the plate. Well, the toughest guys to strike out on the team, and this would be, I think, a surprise to even the most devout Twins fan, is Eduardo Nunez. He's getting up to 200 at bats on the year. He's only struck out 29 times. Hicks is pretty good. He'll start the second game. One and 2. Checked his swing. 2-2. A lot of pitches for Lee. He's got a couple of strikeouts, but a walk, a couple of hits, and now 2-2 to Suzuki. Man, a rarity. Suzuki flips his bat away. He has struck out 3 times today. looking at charts, trying to figure out how to get through this game, and then maybe figuring out who might be available. I guess as unsettled as the 7th inning was, with 3 singles and a run, Boyer didn't throw that many pitches, and neither did Kotz, so both might be available tonight.
Yeah, good job by Neil Kotz getting Ramirez to hit into that double play. And now it's Casey Fiend, the 3rd reliever used after Kyle Gibson pitched 6 shutout innings. Fiend making his 62nd relief appearance. He worked 1 shutout inning here on Monday.
Saw Aaron Hicks in right field for Torrey Hunter. Here's Francisco Lindor, and he takes strike 1. That hasn't been the problem. The problem has been getting Lindor to make an out. 2 for 2 with a walk again today. He's 4 for 4 against Kyle Gibson, but won't face him anymore this year. Lindor 19 hits in 40 at bats against the Twins. 1-1 from Fiend. And now 1-2. I haven't seen Lindor do much of that against the Twins. Chase outside the strike zone.
Well, he'll cut that down now with 2 strikes. Jumping on that high fastball, swinging through it from Casey Fiend.
And off the outside corner at 95. High chopper. And good play by Casey Fiend in not making a play. Chopped it off the plate, and then it hit the edge of the grass and kicked foul. Carsoup.com trivia question. The last MLB rookie to have an on base over 400 for a season. Wade Boggs. Austin Kearns. Pujols did it with power. Mike Trout did it with power. He nearly got to 400.
Would you have ever guessed Austin Kearns?
I would have been here till September 30th of next year and not come up with Austin Kearns. 2-2. Bouncer to third, a 2-hopper to Plouffe. And Lindor's made it out. 1 away.
He is human.
That'll bring up Carlos Santana with the bases empty.
For the drive, now stepping in designated hitter Carlos Santana.
Santana 0 for 3. He's had a disappointing year at the plate in terms of batting average. He will draw an awful lot of walks, but he's hitting just .227. Santana's drawn over 100 walks. So with the power, 18 home runs, 80 runs batted in, still a respectable on base percentage. But as we said last week in Minnesota, you look at Santana, and the Indians have gotten from Santana kind of the same thing the Twins got from Joe Mauer after moving him out from behind the plate. Both former catchers had concussion issues, and the hope was that both players would, see their numbers bounce back to where they were a couple years ago once they got out from behind the plate. It hasn't happened for Mauer, and it hasn't happened for Santana.
Well, remember, they tried Santana over at third base. They wanted him to be the future third baseman after coming from out from behind home plate, but now he finds himself over at first when he's not the designated hitter.
2 strikes to Santana, who strikes out a lot too, and he just struck out there looking, with Fiend shaving the outside corner. 2 down.
And Fiend picking up a strikeout in relief.
Establish postseason priority for the Twins this year by buying next year's season tickets. You can experience exclusive sweet spot benefits like 10% off food and beverage at Target Field. For more info or to place a deposit, call 612-375-7454 or visit twinsbaseball.com/season tickets today. Indians have gone down 1-2-3 only once today. That was back in the second inning when Gibson struck out the side. 2 down here and 1 strike to Gomes, who struck out 3 times against Kyle Gibson.
Yeah, Gibson worked the first 6 innings, shutout baseball, a couple walks, tying a career high 9 strikeouts.
And now 2 strikes. Remember, Saturday's game originally supposed to be 6 o'clock, but it's been moved up to accommodate national television. It's a noon start if you have tickets, or you simply want to watch the game on TV or listen to it on the radio. It will start at noon on Saturday. 2 strikes to Gomes. And over the Twins dugout.
Hey, Kyle Gibson struck him out 3 times on that slider, down and away. That's what Casey Fiend tried. Now, he doesn't have that big slider. He does have a cut fastball. He'll work down and away. From time to time, we'll see him working that curveball.
Driven to right, and Gomes has a base hit. Hicks will cut it off, and Gomes will hold up with a single. Nice job by Hicks getting to that ball. And it's a 2-out single. We'll bring up Almonte.
Yeah, ball left up a little bit, and Gomes lined it into right center. So he gets his first hit. It's the 8th hit for the Indians.
Here is Almonte. And a strike. Runner goes. Twins don't care. Ground ball hit to Dozier. Gets in front of it. And that takes care of the 8th inning. We head to the 9th with the Twins up 6-1. A 4-run 4th inning. The Twins KO'd Carlos Carrasco in the 4th inning. They lead it 6-1 as we go to the 9th inning. And the Twins spreading things around, yet bunching things together in that 4th inning.
Yeah, I know that Torrey Hunter is not in the lineup right now because Aaron Hicks replaced him in right, but that was a huge 3-run double that he hit in the 4th inning to give the Twins at that time a 4-0 lead.
Carrasco giving up just 1 hit in 9 innings to the Royals in his prior start. Knocked out today here in the 4th. And now Sean Armstrong will pitch next for the Indians.
Armstrong making just his 8th relief appearance. A couple stints with the Indians this year. Most of his time spent down in AAA Columbus, where he made 40 relief appearances.
Buxton will lead things off, then Dozier and Mauer. Buxton drove in a run with a single to right, scoring Nunez from third base in his last at bat. 1 for 3. And foul back. Talking before about Buxton's work ethic and his aptitude, and everyone was hoping that Buxton would come up here and not strike out as often as he has, be more of a base stealing threat once he got on base, would hit closer to 300 than 200. But he has all the tools and the work ethic, and as Marnie said before, asks questions of the right people, including Torrey Hunter. Torrey, as great a career as he had, you tend to forget he was up and down, back and forth an awful lot. Here's a drive to center. This has got some carry. This is really well hit. Buxton's got his second big league home run. A drive to right center field. And Buxton has had 2 home runs in his last 2 starts.
Yeah, the one to left in Detroit, and here he just took the ball the other way, and that ball, even though the wind is blowing in, that ball had some carry on it. Fastball, looks like he hit it off the end of the bat. And long stride of Buxton. He doesn't know what's going out. He's ready for extra base hit, and it goes over the right center field fence. So Twins take a 7-0 lead. 7-1, excuse me.
Dozier looking for his first hit. 3 outfield flies and a ground ball. And a strike.
Take a look at a point of contact right here, Buxton. Got right on the barrel of the bat. Good swing.
Twins now with 154 home runs in 157 games. A little bit of a run here in the season's final week. They can average a home run per game played.
Well, what's nice to see is the home runs the Twins have hit. They have not given up a lot of home runs.
Right.
The opponents at one time were about 20 home runs over the Twins' home runs. Now they're only 4. And Dozier doesn't like to call, but he's called out on strikes. So Brian Dozier strikes out against Armstrong.
1 down. And now Mauer. The most significant home run hit today was Mauer's first inning home run, and then he got the second most important double. It was Hunter's 3-run double that broke the game open, but Mauer on an 0-2 pitch against Carrasco drove one to the gap in left center field. Fox Tracks presented by Carrier. 1 strike. Hunter will get the last couple innings off in the under the assumption he'll be back in there for the nightcap.
I guarantee he'll be in right field.
1-1. For those of you who don't know, Sano unable to play third base. Twins really were debating whether to have him in the lineup at all because of a right hamstring strain, but that hamstring is better. Now it's just a question of the rust that he would have at third base, which might open the DH spot open for the Twins. 1-2 to Mauer. Mauer with some words for Alan Porter. And Mauer strikes out, 2 down.
Good slider down and in, and Armstrong, after giving up the home run, has 2 straight strikeouts.
And now Sano. Twins encouraged by games like this. Even though Sano's not hit a home run, he's come to the plate 4 times and has not struck out. He has singled and he has walked. And he takes strike one. Snow hitting just under 500 when he puts the ball in play. Took a fastball, swung through one, and it's 0-2.
94-mile-an-hour fastball.
Michael Tonkin looks like he'll get the 9th inning. Fouled back. "17 doubles, 17 home runs." And as Bert mentioned before, 49 walks. And he strikes out in his 5th plate appearance, and after the home run, Armstrong strikes out the next 3 batters. Twins trying to win the opening game. Byron Buxton with a couple of runs batted in, an RBI single, and his 2nd big league home run. Michael Tonkin will try to pin things down here. Mauer with a couple of big extra base hits. Tonkin will try to make the bottom of the 9th uneventful.
Tonkin making his 25th relief appearance. Hard throwing right-hander, fastball, slider. 5 different stints up and down between AAA and the big leagues this year for Tonkin.
Coming up, what's next? Game 2 of this conventional doubleheader. Mike Pelfrey hoping to pitch well, pitch deep into the ball game. Cody Anderson was supposed to pitch last night. Twins saw him last week at Target Field. Got 10 hits against him, just 1 run. And the Twins desperately needing a doubleheader sweep will be in position to do just that if Tonkin can retire the Indians here in the 9th inning. Sands, the leadoff man. And Tonkin will reset.
They had a little trouble getting that foot in between the pitching rubber. Now he's set to go.
On the outside corner, a strike. And the Twins are hoping that in the week's final games, that as Tonkin is asked to pitch in roles like this or more important roles, that he can throw strikes, get ground ball outs. Nunez to Mauer, and a quick one here in the 9th. That'll bring up Aguilar. I think what we saw was the 8th inning handed to Fiend in part because the Twins would prefer to not use Trevor May. And with If they need to in the second game, then it's another matter if he can get loose and all that. But Twins were able to have Fiend pitch a scoreless 8th, add another run, and now Tonkin getting the 9th. Between the flu bug and the back issues that have beset May, and before that Glenn Perkins and Phil Hughes, it's been an interesting challenge here in the end of September.
Well, I think the 4 runs in the 4th inning and the Twins taking a 6-0 lead kind of, allowed Paul Molitor or Neil Allen to use some of the guys that they may need, more importantly, in game 2 if needed.
Jepson hasn't been used. Perkins hasn't been used.
Right. And May, as you mentioned.
Now 2-1. The motto for the Twins has to be in this last week, help yourself, knowing that you need some help from somebody else. But if you don't win your games, nothing that happens in Anaheim or Seattle is going to matter. Or for that matter this weekend in Texas when the Angels play the Rangers.
And the Houston Astros, they go to Arizona for against the Diamondbacks for 3 games over the weekend.
2-2 to Aguilar. And a fly ball to center, and Buxton drifts back a few steps. And Tonkin gets a quick second out.
Now stepping in for the Invaders, number
2 away, and that'll bring up Aviles. Aviles on the day, 0 for 3, couple of outfield flies and an infield pop. And Tonkin with a mid-90s fastball on the outside corner. Breaking ball off the plate. Tapper toward the hole. Nunez backhands from the outfield grass. Mauer gets the second hop to end the game. Michael Tonkin pitching a 1-2-3 9th inning, and the Twins win the opener. And with the win, the Twins 1 half game behind the Astros, and that half game is in the win column, not the loss column.
As you said, the Twins can only worry about what they did here in game 1. Win the ball game and then see what happens with Houston and the Angels. And hopefully they can now win 2.
Anthony LaPanta, everybody pitching in their biggest games. It'll be Pelfrey's turn tonight, but how about the job Kyle Gibson did pitching in his biggest big league game here this afternoon? Okay. Good. Thank you for negotiating on our behalf.